pub, it plays out, young people getting together for a good time. But the mixture of alcohol, youth and cars can be a dangerous cocktail. Those elements came together one night in the town of Mildura. The victim on this occasion was 21-year-old Luke Shaw.
You watch your child die and part of you dies too.
Had his days. An angel one day, a devil the next. That's Luke. Fishing, crayfishing, yabbying, he was excellent at it. Yeah. You could always bet that he'd bring you a feed home.
He was a very outdoorsy boy from the word go. He loved to be outside building things, fixing things, and he'd always come in with grease on him and his bike pulled apart.
Luke Shaw's love of the big outdoors might have stemmed from the fact there wasn't much room indoors. He was one of 11 children born to Glenn and Jenny. They were all there for his 21st birthday, his last. 3 months later, he was gone.
Hey, I'm going out. I crashed at Mass tonight. See you guys tomorrow.
All right. Be safe, okay?
Sure, Dad.
Bye, Luke.
He walked out the door, he said, see you tomorrow. But that didn't happen.
About 10 p.m. on October 20, 2005, Luke Shaw arrives here at what was then O'Malley's Irish Tavern.
This is CCTV from O'Malley's that night.
O'Malley's was a fairly significant venue in the town at the time. Luke Shaw got there around about 10 p.m. and stayed there through the course of the evening until the early hours of the morning of the 21st of October, being a Friday.
Luke Shaw is last seen about 2:30 a.m. on Mildura's main street. He's obviously been drinking, he's on foot, and he's headed in this direction.
About 3:20 a.m, a security guard is on patrol in his car in 9th Street, 550 metres from where Luke was last seen. All of a sudden, he swerves to avoid a man lying on the road.
He stops, he finds Luke. Somehow the young man has suffered a massive head injury. Luke Shaw is barely alive.
The dreaded 5 o'clock in the morning, knock on the door.
Is it Brad or Luke? How bad?
It's not good.
He said that Luke had been found lying in a pool of blood in Mildura on the road, and he's been taken to hospital.
They assumed Luke had been hit by a car because he was laying on the road, and he asked me, did I know who he was with that night, because no one was with him when he was found.
We cannot understand why he was walking down 9th Street. What he was doing in that location just baffles us.
It was the start of both a tragedy and a mystery. Luke was flown to hospital in Adelaide, but was brain dead. Glenn and Jenny made the heartbreaking decision to turn off his life support.
Still didn't want to turn that support off. But we did that together, myself and Jenny. Don't want to experience it again.
You watch your child die and part of you dies too.
But Luke was not a victim of an assault. Police and forensic experts
we're treating this as being a serious crime.
Shane Ryan is the Shaw family lawyer. He's heard all the expert evidence surrounding Luke's death.
The most probable thing that happened on that night is that Luke got a lift He climbed onto the back of a ute. The ute moved off and he fell from the ute onto the roadway and sustained fatal injuries.
The injuries are consistent with someone falling from a considerable height or falling and hitting the roadway after being accelerated. So similar to putting a sock in a tennis ball in a sock and swinging it, the ball will actually travel at a considerable greater speed in that circle and arc into whatever it strikes.
The questions remain. Who was driving the car that night? Were there any passengers? Most critically, why didn't they stop to help?
People leave scenes of collisions for many, many reasons, but generally they're quite simplistic. They're not difficult to understand. The driver could have been affected by alcohol or drugs. It could be as simple as a driver being unlicensed. It could be as complex as persons in a stolen car, or with some other sinister motive behind why they're in the vehicle.
And that's what Luke's mum, Jenny, believes.
I hear a lot of rumours around, and I am beyond thinking it was an accident. I am more thinking it's deliberate.
Someone pushed him off a ute.
Yes.
Out of a ute. Yeah.
Because no matter drunk or not, you always try in some way to protect yourself. There's been no attempt for him to protect his body from hitting that ground. It's just full force to his head, and that's what caused the extensive injuries he had.
I definitely believe that somebody in the town or someone associated with Mildura back in October of 2005 knows what's happened, has been either been involved in what happened, or can certainly assist us in finding those people.
I feel guilty. I'm his mother, you know. Dad earns the money, Mum protects the children, and I haven't done that.
What are you hoping for out of all of this? What would you like to achieve?
Definitely closure. As a lot of people don't believe in the word closure, but until you lose a son or a loved one, you'll know what we mean.
To go out and stand at Luke's grave and tell him, I now know what happened. Now you can rest peacefully because everyone will know what happened. That's the one thing I wish for. And then I can help the rest of them. But until I can go out there and tell him that, I can't.
Of Luke Shaw, we're joined by Detective Sergeant Mark Amos. Detective Sergeant, after Luke's death, his family set up a Facebook page. You believe there may be some vital clues on that Facebook page. Tell us about that.
As we saw, Jenny Shaw's very committed to solving the mystery of her son's death, and in doing that they've set up a Facebook page. In the last 12 months there's been a post put on that page by a person who either has a very good knowledge as a result of being involved or knows people who were involved in the incident. And we'd be appealing for that person to come forward to us, either through the program or Crime Stoppers, and making themselves known to us so we can get in touch with them and have a listen to what they've got to say.
So you believe this person may have either been at the scene or has been told something by somebody who was there?
That's correct. We believe they've got a good understanding of what occurred.
And what would you say to that person? Call Crime Stoppers, call the detective?
Call Crime Stoppers, call the program, call the Mildura Police, call our office direct. It doesn't really matter. The information gets to us and we will be making ourselves available to them.
And what sort of difference could this piece of information make to the Shaw family?
This could be the key that solves the mystery of Luke's death and help perhaps relieve the near on 8-year nightmare that the Shaw family's had to live through.
All right, Detective Sergeant Mark Amos, thanks very much for your time.
Thank you, Neil.
So, if you can provide any information about Luke's death, contact Crime Stoppers. And of course, you can remain anonymous.